Welcome to the Breeders' Brew, the dog breeding podcast hosted by myself, Sara, the canine family planner,
and me, Isabel, the canine nutrition coach.
We're promoting responsible breeding by unpicking the minefield of breeding myths and methods for owners wishing to expand their whelping wisdom. In this episode, I sit down with Shainy Majidi, a double finalist and winner of the Breeding Vision Award, to explore her journey into French Bulldog breeding. We discuss the challenges, ethical considerations and key decisions that shape a responsible breeding programme. We discover how to find the right stud dog and the challenges of selecting a responsible match, how to consider health testing and nutrition and the essential steps for breeding preparation, and we discuss worming and vaccination and why many breeders are moving towards a more evidence-based approach. Whether you're a breeder or an owner looking to breed for the first time, this episode is a must listen. So I shall hit play now. So today I'm super pleased to welcome to the Breeders' Brew podcast, Shainy Majidi, who is a double finalist of the annual Breeder Awards. She was a finalist for the Holistic Breeder category and also the winner of the Breeder Vision category. So by the sounds of it, she's obviously smashing it out the park. So welcome to the podcast, Shainy.
Hello. Exciting.
We've got big expectations now. No, it's fine. Right, let's get started. It would be great to know a bit about your history in dog ownership, in breeding, and what breed you have.
So I always had dogs. Like as a kid, we had boxer dogs, and then I had English bulldog when I started living on my own, and then when I got together with my husband, we brought a French bulldog, and all of a sudden we were like, "Wow, like she's really healthy. This dog's like an athlete." You know, like when you're looking at other dogs and then you're thinking, wow, my dog's really good. I started researching about dogs, French Bulldogs, health, you know, what's kind of expected, and then learn about all the health testing and stuff like that. And then we thought, well, she's really good. Shall we breed her? Because it's really nice to kind of have healthy dogs. And that's kind of like how we ended up breeding for the first time.
What attracted you to the French Bulldog? And was you expecting all doom and gloom and then you realised that you didn't have one that was like that?
Well, kind of like it was all by kind of accident, really. My husband's friend had a litter who now, when I look back on, it was one of them things like that I would be telling all of my puppy owners to stay away from. You know, that ignorant kind of like, oh yeah, we're just going to get a dog, like not really thinking anything of it. And we saw the mum and we really loved her, and she didn't have any kind of issues either. But it was more kind of as Kiki was kind of growing, and we was, wow, this dog's so powerful, like she's so fast, and just there was just nothing, there were no kind of health issues about her whatsoever. And then so it was all by accident, really. It just kind of, you know, when things just kind of like you get an idea and then it just keeps kind of roller coasting on. That's what happened. And the next thing I knew, I was like DNA testing her and taking her for a BOAS.
So funny enough, Sue, that we've had on the podcast, actually said the same. She said, I was hip and elbow scoring my dog and I had no really idea why.
Yeah, no, that's like, well, that's what you do. But then I very, very quickly found out that's not what everyone does. Then the passion kind of came from it as well, where I was like, well, actually, I've really been quite ethical here, and then it turned to looking for the stud dog, and I was really, really lucky finding a really responsible stud dog owner as well, who'd done all the health testing. She'd done all the BOAS testing too, which, like gold dust, isn't it? And her being quite close to me. And then she became a bit of a mentor as well throughout my dog's pregnancy. So at the end, when I sold Kiki's puppies, I sent her a massive bunch of flowers because you really took me under your wing and I really appreciate it. So it was really nice.
You're not the first person to sort of echo the importance of having a mentor or somebody to support and guide you. And it sort of naturally happens. It wasn't like a structured, I need to find someone that can help me do this, and this. She's, as you say, naturally taking you under her wing and guided you. How did you find looking for a stud dog, like even from subsequent breeders? How do you find that whole process?
It's horrible, if I'm honest. It's like I look for dogs and then I message somebody and I think, right, your dog looks like this is a good dog. And then I say, oh, have you done any health testing? Well, I don't need to, do I? It breathes all right. My God, there's nobody that wants to take the time to do that side of things. It's absolutely crazy. I missed Stella a couple of times because I just couldn't find a stud dog for her.
It's interesting.
But there are some good stud dogs, but you have to travel very far to find them. So
yeah,
I suppose that's going to be one of my next questions, isn't it?
Well, I know you have a whole story of you changed your mind on a stud dog. So I think it would be great to share that with people, because I think it shows great conviction when you think you're getting something and then you get there and you go, oh, this isn't quite what I was expecting. To have the confidence to go, do you know what? I'm gonna re-rack this, because I think most people just go, oh, this is a time sensitive situation. The female's in season. She's ready to be bred. I'm just going to go with it. So I don't know if you just want to explain, without obviously mentioning any names, a situation that you were like, oh, okay. Because I just think it shows great strength, and it really does underpin your ethics as a breeder and how seriously you took the responsibility of the puppies that combination could produce.
Yeah. So we met this stud dog. We met halfway. He was like 3 hours away from me. So we decided to meet halfway. He'd had him BOAS tested and it was a grade 2. But I thought with Stella, she was grade 0. It would kind of even out. It was the max that you could possibly go to with the health testing for breathing wise. And when we met him, we met on this open field. I was throwing a ball for him. He was just like literally tearing around this dog. And I thought, like, actually, like your nostrils are good, like you're breathing fine here. Roll on like a couple of weeks when Stella was in season. We drove up there, we got into the house, and then the dog started sniffing Stella, attempted to kind of mate with her, but then his back legs wasn't long enough. And then got himself in such a state that he started coughing up all this white foam. And then I was just like, no, worry, we just need to call this a day. And off we went. We drove back and I was just like, it made me feel like, I thought, I don't want you near my dog. It's just, and we just went. But I thought like that was like, time, petrol. And then it's also like he hadn't been a stud dog before. So obviously it was kind of new to him. He was inexperienced as well, but it was more the kind of coughing up of the white foam and the breathing. I was just like, absolutely not. Like I don't want to produce puppies like that at all.
No, as you say, it could have been the fact that you had seen him before and he was all good. I don't know, maybe he was overcome by the whole situation. Yeah. He'd got himself in the right state, but then that situation, that's why it's quite important that a mating is managed correctly. You can damage a dog, you can damage a female if it's not correctly dealt with and all the dogs are correctly managed. And it just sounds like he could have got himself into a right situation and then he's just become overwhelmed by it all. I mean, when I think back many years ago, not that there was ever any of my dogs, but we'd be at dog shows, and because a dog in the show ring has to walk a triangle, it sort of walk half the triangle, stop, cough up a load of phlegm and then carry on again. Like that never happens now, as you say, with all the BOAS testing. But that just tells you that dog's literally just walking a triangle. Why is it doing that? Like that's not a normal. A bit like the handlers would literally just scoop up this phlegmy ball and pretend it never happened. You're like, did everyone just see that? That's not right. So for anyone that doesn't know about BOAS testing, it is the breathing obstructive airway syndrome test that the brachycephalic, so the flat-faced breeds, are encouraged to participating, particularly if you are breeding. And as you say, there is like a little grid and you can put the, what's the grade? 0 to 4, is it?
4, yeah.
Yeah, 0 to 4. And there is a little table. And as you say, it would rightly say you can put a 0 to a 2. 2 is the maximum really to be bred from. You would never breed a 2 to a 2, but a 2 to a lower number is deemed acceptable. So, and I think that's the problem. When you're finding studs, you're just juggling the best traits and qualities that you can get. And so you kind of think you're never going to find the perfect stud dog. But you go, okay, like you say, it might be location's not right or the Boas is a little bit higher, or the colour's not what you thought, or the legs are a little bit too short, or whatever it is, you always just juggle and thinking, yeah, I think overall this is the right dog for the female that I've got. And then, to go on that way and to be like, yeah, no, let's go down another route. I think, it just shows real good belief in your program and where you wanted to take it, and you felt that wasn't the direction. So I think a big pat on the back for you. What preparations do you take for your females when you know that you're planning to breed them on their next season?
So my dogs are really healthy anyway. They are just solid muscle and fed raw, and, I never kind of have any issues with them anyway. But this time round, we used the folic acid and just kind of kept them exercised the whole way through. I mean, poor old Stella, she did give up towards the last 10 days. She's like, I'm absolutely not walking, because she was such a round barrel. But I just really try to keep their exercise going, giving them their food. I spoke to Isabel, your canine nutritionist, and just kind of anything that she kind of recommended to me this time, then I was just like, we will use that and go with it.
So you've just recently had 2 litters pretty much at the same time.
9 days apart.
9 days apart, which some would call you crazy.
I think crazy, and I definitely felt crazy through it as well.
And so that resulted in how many puppies?
Oh, so you scanned Stella for 7, but she was messing around, wasn't she? Didn't want to comply at that point. But she
doesn't like me, full stop, does she? So just fair enough, it's fine.
She actually had 10 puppies, but 2 were born in their sacks and they pooed in there, so the last 2 didn't make it.
Okay.
But she has 8 healthy puppies, and then Rhea, she had 9 healthy puppies as well.
So that's a lot of puppage. Yeah,
a
lot of puppage. And they were both self-whelps?
Both self-whelped, yep, done really well.
Yeah, which is
with Stella. I was like, just when are you going to stop, please? I can't be anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's phenomenal, because many people, French Bulldogs get a bad rap, as do the Bulldogs, that, they're brachycephalic and they can't do this and they can't do that. Yet both of your females have self-whelped 2 above average size litters. And when I saw the puppies for microchipping, saw both the girls as well, they're in great condition, not out of condition or anything.
I know the vet, when I took the puppies there, she just kept saying to me, I just love these puppies. She said, they're so healthy. And she said, I can't believe what good condition their mum's in. I did keep feeding Rhea. I kept fattening her up when she'd actually eat. But yeah, it's just they're really, they've done so well, really well.
Yeah. Yeah, the only one that's lost weight is you. For all the stress, the anxiety, and the sleepless nights.
Honestly, there was a period where I don't think I actually slept for about 2 weeks. It was insane. But the other thing that I did use once they were whelping was the calcium. So that played an absolutely huge part as well, to try and regulate both the girls, because of their kind of breathing, the restlessness. It really, really helped. Finding the right calcium to give them as a supplement is really, really hard. So having Isabel and being able to order stuff off her this time was absolutely amazing, and it worked brilliantly as well.
No, it's brilliant. Sue Taplin gave Isabel the biggest glowing ever compliment. I used to give certain supplements, but I never thought too much about it until Isabel really drilled home the importance of quality supplements and when to give them and the correct dosage. And it is a game changer. Sue literally, she said, Sue, she reeled off low. She reckons she's losing less puppies because of it, that the bitches are in better condition, that her boy that she's got a stud, his semen quality's gone through the roof. She named so much stuff that she's bred for decades. Yeah. And she said, I wouldn't change that now. That's my new protocol. So it is the more that we share this information, because I deal with some breeders, oh my God, are these dogs, honestly, King, puppy screaming in the background trying to survive for his life. I think I deal with a lot of breeders where they just go, well, it's all in the food. It's a complete meal. That should do enough. But they don't realise when I then see the pups for microchipping, the pups might be a little bit scrawny or the bitches are totally out of condition and they think that that's normal.
It's not, though.
No. But because they
don't
never
have to be like that, do they?
No.
I mean, I do think that I probably, I do make a lot of work for myself, but then I do feel really proud that my dogs look like, and the puppies look in such good condition. So, I'd rather be like that.
I always think when I sell a puppy, if I was that person taking that puppy, I want to be as pleased as Punch that I've got that puppy. So if I wouldn't sell it to myself, I'm not selling it to anybody else. So I just think you've just set your own high internal benchmarks that, it can as a breeder make your life more complex, more difficult, but you've combated a lot of problems, no doubt, by having that proactive nature. And at the same time, you've produced a quality puppy and you've also kept your bitches in A1 condition, which just isn't a given where people just think, oh, it's easy, just chuck them some food and they're happy.
Well, they wouldn't eat. Mine wouldn't eat. So they just totally went off their food. So I had to get not the stuff, the raw food, the cold press, had to get the cold press, liquidize that with an egg and some goat's milk and syringe it in their mouths.
Yeah.
Like there I was at like 4 a.m, blending, flipping the cold press food.
Yeah. And that's what people don't see, the behind the scenes stuff. But people think dog breeding is all, I said it before, I actually saw a quote online only yesterday and I thought it was brilliant. And someone said, people like to think breeding dogs is all unicorn and rainbows and that the fairy dust is what lines your pockets. And I thought, that's such a brilliant, I've got to get that written up.
And somebody says, oh, I just wanted my dog to experience it. No, you don't. It's bloody horrible. Like, isn't it? Like, there's nothing like nice or glamorous for the poor bloody dogs that are like having puppies.
No female ever wants to have puppies. We've made the conscious decision that we want to breed from her. And in doing that, we should ensure that her safety is of the utmost importance. Because, she's in season and she's flirting, but that's just hormones. That's not, she's not thinking, oh, I can't wait to have a load of pups in 9 weeks' time and I can't see whether they grow up to be...
Stella would have been so pleased with herself if she knew what was to come in the next few weeks.
The hormones are hormones. Right. What do you do in regards to worming and vaccinations for your bitches if you're planning to breed them, but also your puppies?
So I haven't chemically wormed my dogs in about 3 years. I use pumpkin seeds and raw rabbit's feet or rabbit ears, and that's all I use. And I worm count test them about every 3 to 6 months. Because I knew that I was going to breed them, I worm count tested them before pregnancy to make sure that they weren't pregnant.
Yeah.
Pregnant, didn't have worms.
Sorry. As we going, yeah.
You're going,
No, we want the pregnancy bit. We don't want the worms. We don't want the parasites.
And then I didn't chemically worm them all the way through pregnancy. I brought the worm count pregnancy bundle.
Yeah.
And then they were clear during pregnancy. And then I done a pool sample from the puppies at day 23, I think it is, and done the mum again, and they were all clear. So Ria's left last week and I chemically wormed them before they left their new homes because I thought I want, everyone's peace of mind. And I felt like 8 weeks, coming up to 8 weeks, they can take it a bit more. They still really hated it, but it wasn't horrific giving it to them.
I followed the exact same protocol that you've just said. I like to do one chemical wormer before they go to their new homes, but apart from that, I'm happy with a worm count. Have you ever had a positive worm count come back?
No, I haven't. No.
I think I did.
It just got to go, didn't it? Like all those, like when people do the payment plans with vets and they worm their dogs every month and you're just like giving it to them for no reason whatsoever.
Well, and that's why it's such a problem now that we've got worm resistance, antibiotic resistance. So these treatments that don't need to happen, that's why the vets have all cracked down saying that you can't just pop in and ask for worm. If you're not in one of these health care plans, you have to then take the dog down for a consultation because they haven't been ill and they haven't seen it in the last year.
You fortune.
Yeah, exactly. Just to look at your dog and go, yeah, it's fine. It just seems ridiculous to me. But it is because of that, because people start dishing out wormers willy-nilly and they're not needed. So the dogs are becoming resistant to them. So they're trying to crack down a bit on that. So I'm all for worm count. Let's not give stuff, especially when people worming puppies at 2 weeks old and they've not even had real food in their bellies. They've just on milk.
That's horrible, isn't it?
It just sounds a crazy thing to do. I mean, at one point I was leaving it till 3 weeks, and then I was giving them slippery elm to counter act what the wormer might do. And then I'm thinking, no, this is crazy. Like, why am I giving my puppies poison that I know are now going to be ill when I don't even know if they've got worms? It's just a bit crazy.
Yeah.
So I think the methodologies around that are definitely improving and people are taking them up on that. What about vaccinations? What do you do with your pregnant girls and your puppies?
I've been led by you this time, really, because I was really interested in the way that you do it and that you don't vaccinate before they go to their new homes. So just read the stuff that you sent me, kind of like looked a bit online about it. I don't vaccinate my dogs. If I felt like if I was going to have to do anything, then I would tear test them to see what immunities they did have and whether they needed vaccination or not before I did do anything. But with the puppies this time, I have said to all the new owners that I'm not going to, and actually got a really, really good response from it. So people are just because also as well, like lots of breeders have been talking about the Lepto 2 being discontinued and the Lepto 4 coming out and wanting to kind of wait until their puppies were a bit older, because quite a few people have had fading puppy syndrome. Because the vet said that to me when I took them. She said, "Oh, you're not vaccinating them today then?" I said, "No, I'm going to wait." And she said, "Oh, you're the second breeder that's come in here and said that." So it must be, people are starting to kind of like think about it a bit more.
I think because of the pandemic and the COVID jab, I think that's just heightened people's own opinions on vaccinations and how many should be done. And now that's been reflected onto the dogs. And as you say, interestingly enough, I took King for his puppy jab, which I've left him till he's 10 weeks. Took him for his puppy jab. And she said, "Oh, I think it was a new vet in there." And I sort of go in there nonchalant because they're going to talk rubbish at me. And I've accepted that. So I just take it and go. And anyway, she said, "Oh, we might only have Lepto 4." And I said, "Well, I'd prefer Lepto 2. But if it's Lepto 4, it's Lepto 4. That's why I've left him till he's 10 weeks old." Okay, that's fine. He's had some multi-vaccination. So I was like, "Oh, right, okay." So I said, "What is it, Lepto 2 or Lepto 4? She said, "Is Lepto 3. So I'm like,
"What?"
Exactly. So I'm like, "Oh, is this a thing I don't know about?" Anyway, I literally come home, Googled it. It does not exist. Spoke to Isabel. She said, "That sounds like rubbish." And I'm like, I've literally been told rubbish by a vet. The Lepto 3 exists, which I was impressed at one point because I was like, "Oh, well, that would make sense. It's not as strong as 4 if 2's going." So I don't, but she literally said Lepto 3 and it doesn't exist. And that's from a qualified vet. So
Crazy.
What more can I say? But yeah, I'm all for tighter testing, as you say, with your bitches. And I've never needed booster jabs after puppy vax. I've never needed it. And I monitor it. And yeah, again, I think it's overkill and a pointless expense that is of no advantage to the dog. So yeah,
like you think like mum's natural immunity, and then you're giving them an injection at 8 weeks. It's not really going to do what it's supposed to, is it?
No, it doesn't work. That's why you have to do 2. Unless it was literally some rescue puppy that you had no history about its parents, then you'd play it safe. But when you know they're well-bred puppies and you've got the parents, you know what the deal is, it is a little bit ridiculous. So yeah, as you say, I think there's a definitely a change of expectations there. I think puppy owners like it when a breeder will go against the status quo but can articulate why, because you're showing that you have knowledge about what you're doing. You're not just doing it because that's what you're meant to do.
Yeah, I think, and they said as well, a lot of the so one of my puppies has gone to Liverpool, one's gone to the Isle of Man, and both of them said, well, actually, it makes more sense for us because the vets probably wouldn't have the same injections as what you would use down here, so we'd probably have to start again anyway, and then that means that the puppy's getting like double, doesn't it, of everything?
Yeah, so just totally unnecessary. Unnecessary. Okay, so let me ask you a question. What do you feel your long-term plans are and goals are for your breeding program? Because I know that you've kept 2 puppies.
Yes. So, well, I've kept a female out of Ria's, and then I've kept a male out of Stella's. And the reason I chose the male out of Stella's is because he's standard brindle, and I want to get him up to gold standard health testing with the French Bulldog Club of England. So Mac, my other stud dog, he is that level, but because of what's written on his kennel club, he's more like a thorn pie now, but on his kennel club it says blue thorn pie, so he wasn't standard colour, so they wouldn't accept him for the program.
Has he been have you like DNA tested him for coat colour?
And absolutely everything with Mac, yeah.
But is he a blue pied, or is he? Because all I'm saying is some people were adding the fancy colours on because they were thinking that the puppies would sell for more money.
Yeah.
Is his DNA the blue?
Mac's breeder, Jess, she's up in Chester, and just quickly going back, I know we've already talked about this, but because I couldn't find a stud dog for Stella, I brought my own. And I'd followed Jess for many years and then saw that Mac was still available. So went and got him off her because she does every single test that you can possibly imagine as well. So I knew that I was getting a really good dog off her. And I can't remember, Sara, what it says on his DNA test.
Oh, okay. All right. That was all. No, all I was thinking was if his DNA test isn't actually what's on his paperwork, then you would have an argument to say that he should be accepted for the highest level. That's all I'm saying.
I'd have another look. But...
Yeah, well, it'd just be worth checking, because if it's not true and they're literally just going because of what's written on his certificate, but that isn't actually true. So that was all. But yeah, sorry, I've digressed. I was taking on the tangent. So you're keeping your brindle boy.
Yeah. And we'll use him as a stud dog because there's quite a few health tested French Bulldogs in the north area. So we done a 9-hour round trip for Ria to go up to Stoke-on-Trent for her dog because he was health tested, and a really good standard of health testing as well. So it had like the BVA eye test, BOAS testing, DNA testing, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that it'd be good to go and get Mac and bring some of that quality down south so that anyone that wants, a really good health tested sound dog, that's what I want to kind of have for the French Bulldogs down here, really.
Yeah, and he's really flashy marked as well, isn't he? So yeah, he's going to look nice once he's finished growing and maturing.
Yeah.
And then you kept a girl
from Ria's.
Yeah. Okay.
This little Mac. She's like just beautiful looking. She's lovely and just a real sweetheart dog as well. She's got loads of confidence, but then sometimes I'll catch her like sitting back watching everything, and I thought, yeah, that's fine to come into my pack that I've got already, because I don't want anything too crazy with having 5 dogs.
Yeah, you need quiet ones. It's nice having some with some character, but you need quiet ones. King, my new one,
got enough character for all of them.
Yeah. Thankfully, I said when I went to pick up King, I said I would never have. Obviously, he was mine from being born because he's the colour of his dad, and I bred his dad. But he done absolutely zero to sell himself to me. He just used to hide away at the back, try and not make eye contact. So I did think, do you know what? Quiet one would be a bad thing. Well, anyone that's heard this recording will hear him screaming in the background, getting chewed up, throwing himself through the dog flap. So maybe I'm the maybe I'm the problem, not the dogs. So that's not stayed the case.
Yeah, it's funny how they turn out, isn't it? Like Stella was the loudest out of all of her siblings, and she was like terrorizing all of them when she was a young puppy. And she's grown into the most chilled, laid back dog that just couldn't. She won't even listen to her name most of the time. She's asleep. It's just she just don't care about anything.
Do you know what? I think sometimes it also depends on food. And like you said, you're a raw feeder. I know a very popular brand when it was first introduced to people that's breed specific, that people started seeing behavioural differences in their dog. And what it was is they were becoming hyperactive because of the food. Yeah. And I think with puppies, a lot of it can be hyperactivity because they're feeding a kibble that's just not right for them. I mean, I can't imagine it happening in raw food, but it might do, who knows. But I just imagine some of these puppy kibbles and the protein levels are just sending some of the dogs scatty, and the owners haven't realised it's the food, it's not actually the dog.
For me, I just couldn't, how boring would that be to eat the same brown biscuits every single day? I just couldn't. It's one of the reasons why I love raw, because they've just got a nice kind of variety.
Yeah, it almost looks like just cardboard in a bowl. And as you say, depending on what raw you feed, I've settled with Paleo Ridge and I'm really happy with it. But sometimes I look at it and I'm like, you can literally put that into a little patty and you could fry that. I don't know if I want to munch on the bits of bone that's in there, but it looks appealing. And it's not just done from bakers shove some orange bits and some green bits in their kibble to make it look appealing. To me, this is real food, and I can see all the elements of what this food is. So it shows to me it's not processed.
Yeah, I've never cleaned my dog's teeth either. Their teeth are whiter than mine. It's just, you can just tell the difference in the where they have their chicken wings, stuff like that. It's just just completely different health from feeding raw.
I saw your Instagram video of the chicken feet that you were giving, so I knew that you go those extra levels of enrichment as well as dietary.
It absolutely terrifies me, and I'm trying to watch 15 puppies all with a chicken feet in their mouth, and I'm just and then you can hear one go like that and you're like, oh my god, why are you trying to swallow it whole? It's terrifying, but they absolutely love them.
Yeah, but I think it's good to, if you teach them while they're young not to be greedy, because I think that's a really big problem with the bulldogs. If they eat anything whole, they don't even sniff it. They just see the hand coming towards them and it's gone. They've eaten whatever you've got. Where my Labrador will actually observe what it is, work out what it is, and decide if it needs chewing, chomping, dropping, and then looking at. But some breeds, it literally just, they go food, eat it, gone.
Well, it's so Ria's food drive is through the roof, and she would demolish anything and just swallow it whole and kill herself. But Stella is completely different. Would just sniff it, think, oh, do I want this? And then just have a nice little chew on it. So yeah, both Frenches, both totally different drive.
But you know that, so that's the important thing. Right, we are coming to the end of this amazing podcast. So I'm going to move on to the quick fire round. My first question to you is, and I already know the answer to this, but health testing, yay or nay?
Yes, yay.
2 litters at the same time, crazy or chill?
Crazy.
In one word, describe your breeding philosophy.
The thing that came to my head then was quality, but I don't know whether that's the right. I don't know. I'm terrible at being put on the spot with things.
That's fine. No, but if that's what you're aiming for, and
I suppose overall quality in everything. So from the food, the enrichment, just the temperament, everything really.
Yeah, it all builds on itself. Keeps on building and building, doesn't it? Yeah, no, I totally agree with it. Because anyone can feed a 15-pound bag of dog food or a 55-pound bag of dog food. The dog gets fed either way, doesn't it? But the quality of what's, and I'm not saying I'm not big enough dog feed, but just an example, the dogs are eating, but what repercussions that has on the quality of life. Even, Isabel, she went on to she started harp on about lifespan to me the other day. I've got it on a podcast somewhere, the difference between lifespan and a lifetime, basically. And you can live a long time, but if your quality of that lifetime isn't a good lifespan, then all these little differences make the difference. So no, I'm all for quality. Right, and the last one is, what's one must-have tool for breeding success?
Must-have tools, I would say your supplements.
Supplements.
Definitely. Yeah.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Another point to Isabel.
Yeah, definitely this time. And, like some raw goat's milk, that is key too.
Yeah, you like some goat. How did you use that? Is that for mums or pups or both?
I gave it to mums before and after whelping. I didn't give it to the puppies to supplement anything like that. I gave it to them once they were gone onto the 6-week-old puppy milk, and I gave it to them probably about 9 o'clock at night, just so that it would give them a little bit through the night. And then gradually reduced it before they were going to their new homes. But they absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's like a baby. That's like a human idea, I suppose, isn't it? A heavier meal before bed to keep them going through the night. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and the routines worked really well, because most of the feedback that I've had from the new owners is that they've done really well with going through the night.
Yeah, I tell everyone just to ignore the pups anyway.
Yeah.
Just I'm not getting out of bed for anybody. I'll go to bed late and I'll get up early, but I'm not having interrupted sleep. But less about me anyway. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. You've given some awesome insight into finding studs, what makes a good stud, sourcing studs, and the preparation that should go in before you start breeding. So yeah, an amazing insight from anybody that's yet to do it or on that journey. Thank you for officially accepting your Breeder Vision Award, which will be in the post to you. So you've got a nice little gift coming into the post with your certificate. So I hope you enjoy it. Place it somewhere nice. And
like you say, from being in this crazy world that I've been in with 15 puppies, it was just amazing to win this. I was really, really happy.
It was the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
Good. Well, as you say, it's good for people to be recognised for their hard work, because it doesn't always happen. And yeah, you've done an amazing job, and you'll continue to do an amazing job. I have no doubt about it. And so yeah, that effort should be recognised. So it has been. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, thank you so much.
If you've resonated with this episode, you're already showing the mindset that matters the most. But great breeding isn't just about attitude, it's about understanding your breed, your specific circumstances, and where you are in the journey.
That's where a Brew Crew mentorship comes in. No one-size-fits-all advice, just personal, practical support shaped around you. Whether you're planning your first litter or refining your approach, we'll walk you through every step of the way.
So come on and join us at breedersbrew.com for tailored learning and a community that's raising the bar, one thoughtful, well-prepared litter at a time. Can't wait to see you there.